While progressing in life, at times we feel stuck due to the lack of knowledge of how to manage our time well. Deciding how to prioritize the different facets of daily self management gets hectic, whether it's for school students, university students, or working people. The lack of motivation, a great amount of workload, and the expectations at the academic front, in college, or at one's workplace is draining for an individual. Under such circumstances, a helping hand can instruct and support us in setting the right direction for our goals. At MentorMitr, we engage with individuals wherever they are in their journey of career development and help them learn life skills to manage complex situations while enhancing their potential and performance to optimum. Our involvement helps individuals to set the right goals and create options by following an objective process, thereby enabling them to define and manage their priorities. We help them generate self-awareness and teach them how to prioritize their time effectively. We also enhance their emotional quotient with techniques like mind mapping and dealing with success and failure to reinforce their goals and processes, while also grooming them with soft skills that are necessary for the competitive selection process, thus making them confident and prepared for success.
This is the MentorMitr Android application. This is the sign up screen where we ask for the basic details, including the category in which a particular user lies in: school student, college student, parent, mentor, working professional. This is the home page. After logging in, put ourselves, our focus areas. We give an animation video explaining our methodology. Going to the no more page, we tell about the various categories we serve for: the school students, college students, and working professionals, and what we have to offer for them. Then we have the testimonials. This is the navigation bar on the home screen where I can access the join us page for the people who wish to work with us. About us page where we tell about ourselves. Mentors page where we give the mentor information, all the mentors who are there to support you. Then we have a questionnaire. It is free of cost to fill for everyone, and they get a free assessment report based on this directly on their mail IDs. Webinar video has our webinar clips. We do a weekly webinar on one or the other life skill. This is the programs page where I can access university program or working professional program. If I go to university program, I can see the program and the features for the university students. For example, I wish to enroll in the 3-month program. I can apply a promo code here. Promo code has been applied and ₹1000 has been deducted. Now I can pay for the program. Once I have paid for the program, this is the kind of dashboard I have for myself. These are the features which I get: the questionnaire with a free assessment report, a time tracker to track my time. This is to be filled one time. Then a priority index to be filled one time before the mentoring session. A sports track: if you are interested in sports, pursuing sports further, you can go for it. We have a college track to see the future options in terms of the master degrees you can pursue and the syllabus and the selection criteria for that particular college and that course. This is a goal and affirmation template. It's to be filled on a daily basis. This is for our daily intervention. Scheduling session: you can schedule a session with one of our mentor. Session feedback: you can give feedback for the mentor based on how your experience was. Weekly template: this is to be filled once in a week, where you can fill for different things like the marks scored, the activities, or say the time you spend in a particular activity, and the engagement energy, which helps us measure qualitatively your progress. Then you can access weekly progress, how you are improving on a weekly basis, and mentor will intervene as and when required. In the soft skills section, you will be given recommendation for the self-read books, podcasts, shows which would be helpful for you, which will help you to improve on a personal level and grow your soft skills. Blogs and webinar videos is same as before. Student also has 24/7. They get 120 minutes of access to the mentor through video call, voice call, or texting. And we also offer a chatbot, an AI powered chatbot, which will help them resolve their queries, to help them deal with the stress and set their goals in the right direction. All in all, MentorMitr offers cumulative analysis on a daily basis as well as on a weekly basis, how to improve yourselves, to enhance your performance, manage your time and priorities well, improve your soft skills, set the right goals, and achieve your highest potential.
While progressing in life, at times we feel stuck due to the lack of knowledge of how to manage our time well. Deciding how to prioritize the different facets of daily self management gets hectic, whether it's for school students, university students, or working people. The lack of motivation, a great amount of workload, and the expectations at the academic front, in college, or at one's workplace is draining for an individual. Under such circumstances, a helping hand can instruct and support us in setting the right direction for our goals. At MentorMitr, we engage with individuals wherever they are in their journey of career development and help them learn life skills to manage complex situations while enhancing their potential and performance to optimum. Our involvement helps individuals to set the right goals and create options by following an objective process, thereby enabling them to define and manage their priorities. We help them generate self-awareness and teach them how to prioritize their time effectively. We also enhance their emotional quotient with techniques like mind mapping and dealing with success and failure to reinforce their goals and processes, while also grooming them with soft skills that are necessary for the competitive selection process, thus making them confident and prepared for success. While progressing in life, at times we feel stuck due to the lack of knowledge of how to manage our time well. Deciding how to prioritize the different facets of daily self-management gets hectic, whether it's for school students, university students, or working people. The lack of motivation, a great amount of workload, and the expectations at the academic front, in college, or at one's workplace is draining for an individual. Under such circumstances, a helping hand can instruct and support us in setting the right direction for our goals. At MentorMitr, we engage with individuals wherever they are in their journey of career development and help them learn life skills to manage complex situations while enhancing their potential and performance to optimum. Our involvement helps individuals to set the right goals and create options by following an objective process, thereby enabling them to define and manage their priorities. We help them generate self-awareness and teach them how to prioritize their time effectively. We also enhance their emotional quotient with techniques like mind mapping and dealing with success and failure to reinforce their goals and processes, while also grooming them with soft skills that are necessary for the competitive selection process, thus making them confident and prepared for success.
The steps to avail the e-certificate are as follows. 1. Attend the full webinar. 2. Once you see thank you displayed on the screen, there will appear a link to Google Attendance form in the chat box. Click to mark your attendance and get the feedback form emailed. 3. Fill the questionnaire that you receive on your mail address for further details. 4. Follow our page on Instagram and Facebook. If the above stated steps are followed, an e-certificate will automatically be mailed to you.
While progressing in life, at times we feel stuck due to the lack of knowledge of how to manage our time well. Deciding how to prioritize the different facets of daily self-management gets hectic, whether it's for school students, university students, or working people. The lack of motivation, a great amount of workload, and the expectations at the academic front, in college, or at one's workplace is draining for an individual. Under such circumstances, a helping hand can instruct and support us in setting the right direction for our goals. At MentorMitr, we engage with individuals wherever they are in their journey of career development and help them learn life skills to manage complex situations while enhancing their potential and performance to optimum. Our involvement helps individuals to set the right goals and create options by following an objective process, thereby enabling them to define and manage their priorities. We help them generate self-awareness and teach them how to prioritize their time effectively. We also enhance their emotional quotient with techniques like mind mapping and dealing with success and failure to reinforce their goals and processes, while also grooming them with soft skills that are necessary for the competitive selection process, thus making them confident and prepared for success.
The steps to avail the e-certificate are as follows. 1. Attend the full webinar. 2. Once you see thank you displayed on the screen, there will appear a link to Google Attendance form in the chat box. Click to mark your attendance and get the feedback form emailed. 3. Fill the questionnaire that you receive on your mail address for further details. 4. Follow our page on Instagram and Facebook. If the above stated steps are followed, an e-certificate will automatically be mailed to you.
While progressing in life, at times we feel stuck due to the lack of knowledge of how to manage our time well. Deciding how to prioritize the different facets of daily self-management gets hectic, whether it's for school students, university students, or working people. The lack of motivation, a great amount of workload, and the expectations at the academic front, in college, or at one's workplace is draining for an individual. Under such circumstances, a helping hand can instruct and support us in setting the right direction for our goals. At MentorMitr, we engage with individuals wherever they are in their journey of career development and help them learn life skills to manage complex situations while enhancing their potential and performance to optimum. Our involvement helps individuals to set the right goals and create options by following an objective process, thereby enabling them to define and manage their priorities. We help them generate self-awareness and teach them how to prioritize their time effectively. We also enhance their emotional quotient with techniques like mind mapping and dealing with success and failure to reinforce their goals and processes, while also grooming them with soft skills that are necessary for the competitive selection process, thus making them confident and prepared for success.
Good evening, everybody. We welcome you all to today's webinar. MentorMitr is a mentoring organization. Our aim is to guide students who are in school and colleges, as well as working people in the areas of goal setting, stress management, time management, enhancing emotional intelligence, and providing soft skill grooming. Welcome to today's webinar. This session covers the third episode of our series called Youth on the Go. This session is centered on women who have excellent leadership qualities and are driven towards their goals. The purpose of this series is to provide the spotlight to someone who has overcome challenges and obstacles in life and has many achievements. If you see yourself as an achiever, a budding leader, and have a story to share with the world, then we invite you to join us. Be a part of this series and inspire someone. Your experience could become a lesson for someone. Your values and learnings could bring realization and clarity to someone pursuing their dream. This session will be led by our guests, Ms. Maheen Faisal, Ms. Niharika Bhargava, and Ms. Somya Jain today. Now, I would like to introduce the first speaker for the evening, Ms. Maheen Faisal. Maheen Faisal is currently pursuing philosophy honors from Lady Shri Ram College for Women, Delhi University. She is an experienced and a seasoned orator with ample knowledge of the ins and outs of the debating world. She has been involved energetically in MUN conferences and debates for over 6 years now, having participated in more than 100 debating tournaments. She has always been fascinated with topics of international relations as well as foreign policies, which secured her a position in the Global Youth Forum.
Hi, my name is Maheen Faisal, and I'm currently a third year student who's pursuing philosophy honors from Lady Shri Ram College of Women. And firstly, I hope all of the audience is keeping well and keeping safe, because I can understand how 2020 has been a super challenging year for all of us. So I hope everyone's safe. Please take care of yourselves emotionally, mentally, physically, and spiritually as well. Okay, so before beginning, I'd like to thank the team of MentorMitr for giving me this opportunity, because I feel like everyone has a story to share, but not everyone gets a platform to share it. And the initiative which is started by MentorMitr to give a platform to young minds like us to share our story is something which is highly appreciable. So thank you guys for considering me good enough to share a story of my own. Now I feel like you must be wondering what I'm going to do here and what I'm going to talk about. So I am an ardent public speaker, and public speaking is my passion. But it was never that easy for me. Like, it was never a piece of cake as it is right now. So I'd like to talk about that and how public speaking specifically has changed my entire life. So basically, when I was a kid, I was very hesitant, and I was like a major, introvert. Like, I never used to mingle that easily with people, and my parents thought this as a major problem of me being like super antisocial. So I was forcefully sent to a summer camp when I was in fourth standard, and there I had to live without my parents for a week straight. And believe me, it was super hard. So, like any other ordinary summer camp, there were lots of, fun activities, be it singing, dancing, painting, and that's when I got to realize that there's some sort of a debate competition which was being organized by the camp. And I was like, okay, let's give it a shot. And I still remember the topic was something related to the evolution of technology. I still remember that. And at that particular point of time, we did not really have any access to mobile phones or even a fast speed internet connection. So I was supposed to write all of my speech on my own, and it was a 4 to 5 minute speech. So it was a lot for me, but I did it. And I think the reason why it was so easy for me to write down a speech was because I believed in what I was writing about. So whenever you're believing in your content, in whatever you say, it becomes very easy for you. So I still remember, and I'm not really lying about it. I went to the stage, and the audience was pretty huge. And I just went on with my speech without any fear of being judged whatsoever. And to my surprise, I won the award of the best speaker. And that was my first public speaking competition ever. And the winners were supposed to perform again on the final day of the summer camp, where our parents were also part of the audience. So, like, my parents were super proud of me. And that's when I realized that for an introvert like me, this is my thing. Like, I want to grow in it and I want to nurture in it even more. So I think from there there was no looking back, and I participated in all sorts of public speaking competitions, be it conventional debates, parliamentary debates, extemporaries, declamations, public speaking. And in my final 2 years of my school life, I got the opportunity of hosting my school's annual play, which was honestly a huge opportunity in itself. And secondly, I also got the opportunity of hosting my favorite school teacher's farewell in front of the entire school. So, that's when I realized that I am really enjoying this so far, but it wasn't really that easy for me at one point. So like I said, I think everyone has a turning point in their lives, and that turning point really defines their further journey. So that's what happened with me when I was in 8th grade. There was this huge debate competition or rhetorical contest which was organized by my school, namely the Anuradha Bhardwaj oratorical contest. And it was on a very huge scale, and only 2 participants were selected from every house. So I got selected in it. in my 8th grade, and I lost it due to certain reasons. But then I never gave up. I was like, okay, no problem. We'll give it a shot next year as well. Ninth standard, I participated again. I got selected and I participated and I lost it again. So I was like, okay, what's wrong with me? So the basically the rule of the competition was that you could not participate more than 3 times in a row. So if I would have participated in my 10th grade, I wouldn't be given the opportunity to participate in my 11th grade, which is why I chose not to participate in my 10th grade. And during the day of the competition, I sat down to the notebook and I made notes. I wanted to see how people were speaking. And even though at that particular point of time, my friends did judge me, this is so stupid. Why are you making notes and everything? I was like, I don't know. I just want to do this. So after 10th grade, 11th grade, I auditioned again, got selected again, and lost it again for the third time. Now that was super depressing. I cried for months straight. I couldn't concentrate in my studies and I felt like giving up public speaking altogether. And it was really hard on me. I mean, losing 3 times in a row, I just started to see myself as a bad speaker overall, as a bad orator. But I was like, okay, I'm not gonna give up now. Let's give it a shot again in 12th grade. So I'm very stubborn. I always want to get what I want. So in 12th grade, I auditioned for the post of my house's captain, and I won the elections with a huge margin. And 12th was the grade when my house won in that particular contest. So we won. And I think that was after years of struggle that we came first in the Niharika Bhargava rhetorical contest with my entire team. So I don't know, I mean, it was years of hard work, years of perseverance that paid off in my 12th grade. And I don't know if I would have lost in my 12th grade, it would be really hard for me. But I think the idea of never giving up and just running behind what you have to do and what you need to do was something which really kept me going. And also in my 12th grade, I was the second topper of my school and I secured 95.4% in my boards, and I was also the topper of my class, basically the commerce section, which was again a huge victory in itself. And then I got admission in LSR, which is one of the most prestigious universities under prestigious college under Delhi University. And that's when my journey of public speaking took over, like the idea of never giving up. And also when I was a part of so like in my college years, and I'm still in college, mind you. So I've judged almost 15 MUN conferences this year, which is, I think, which is huge, because 15 conferences in a year is something which means that, I have achieved another milestone, being a part of the executive board of so many conferences. And I'm one of the most leading female figures in the MUN and the debating circuit, having participated in more than 100 debating tournaments very easily. Like, I don't really keep a count of it. But I want to talk about why I feel public speaking is so important, because see, I know, a lot of people fear public speaking. And I think that is the first reason why you should realize the importance of public speaking, because if you don't overcome your fear, you won't realize what this field is all about. And it doesn't really matter that, you will always be given a platform for it. Like, even if it's about general day-to-day conversations, it's important to present forth your views. And secondly, I feel like talking about the importance of public speaking, it's important that you influence the world around you. It's important for you to lead the people around you, and you won't be able to do that until and unless you're able to present your points very confidently, right? And nextly, I feel like you will be able to speak up for the issues you care about. So like, I am an advent promoter of mental health, as well as eradicating gender inequality at all points. But if I'm not confident enough to present forth my points, then I feel like caring about the issue doesn't really matter, because I feel like at some point there are certain issues which really irritate us at some point, be it gender inequality, and be it corruption, or like anything, be it anything. But if you, even mental health, to speak of important issues as such, it's very important that if you want to speak about the issues you really care about and you're really passionate about, then it's important to raise your voice against these issues, or in favor of these issues. Lastly, I feel like public speaking is also important in the sense that even if you're a child, or if you're someone of my age, or even if you're a grown up, it will increase the chances of you getting hired, because when you're going for interviews, your the command over your language really matters, be it Hindi, English, or whatever your respective language is. That really matters at some point. So I feel like if you're able to present forth your points very clearly and confidently, now that is something that can really really land you a good job, because whenever you're applying for any job interview, your interviews plays a very important part, and how you communicate in that interview is also like very very important. So which is why I really cannot emphasize enough on the importance of public speaking, that this is something that doesn't really depend on your age, whether you're a kid or a grown up, or someone who's applying for jobs, or a college student, or a graduate. It's very important. And I would also want to talk about how you will be able to become an effective public speaker. Firstly, like I said, speak about what you believe in. Now, when I was talking about my competition when I was, in my summer camp, it was very easy for me to write down a speech without even, searching up for it in my phone, because I didn't really have a phone to say. So I just wrote what I believed in. And when you do that, it'll be very easy for you to, present your points. So don't speak about things that you don't believe in, and just don't speak about things for the sake of it. Secondly, if you speak about what you believe in, you'll absolutely be confident about it. Now, the reason why I'm giving this webinar is because all of the things I have talked about are true, and I believe in these points. Otherwise, I would be very hesitant, in talking to you about these specific points. So if you're confident about what you speak, it will be reflected in your voice. It will be reflected in your, in the way you're presenting your points. Lastly, I feel like, not lastly, the third point would be you should try to connect to the audience as much as possible. So now, right now, I'm not able to see you guys as such, but you can see me. And I have tried to incorporate as many relevant examples as possible. So whenever you're communicating with people, even in general, even when you're, having day-to-day normal conversations, or when you're going for a competition, try to connect to the audience as much as possible. Try to include prominent examples, relevant cases, so that the audience is able to connect to you on a very different level altogether. So that's another thing. And lastly, and most importantly, public speaking is not just about speaking. It's also about hearing other people. It's also about hearing other people's point of view as well, because I feel like other people's speeches is the biggest asset for me. Like, my speech is very important, but what other people are saying is also my biggest weapon. So I can, if I listen to them properly, that there might be certain points that I can use against them, right? So whenever I'm going for any sort of a competition, I make sure that I listen to their speeches, because then I'll be able to, question them and counter question them. So that is something which holds a very important value in the debating circuit altogether. Lastly, I feel like I think one thing that you should be able to, understand from this entire webinar is don't give up. Don't ever give up, because I've read this quote somewhere that, whenever you're tired, learn to rest, not to quit. And that is something that really, really inspires me till date. Because what we do is, whenever we get exhausted and, whenever we are drained, especially considering today's, situation, we quit. We give up very easily. But in such dire times, it's very important. That is why I started this webinar on a note where I wanted everyone to take care of themselves physically, mentally, and spiritually, even emotionally, because it's very important to take care of yourself. Otherwise, you'll get tired easily, and at one point, you would want to give up. So don't do that. And personally, I have tried my level best to give back to the debating and the MUNing circuit as much as possible. In the period of this lockdown, I trained at least 30 to 40 school kids online. I trained them, as to how MUNs and debates work. I familiarized them with all sorts of debate, because sometimes I feel like schools failed to give the desired recognition to extracurricular activities. And I feel like today's youth really needs to, speak up about important issues, about burning issues which need our immediate attention. And yeah, I think that's about it. So again, I really cannot emphasize enough on the importance of public speaking. And I feel like I basically, just in the end, I just like to say, speak about what you believe in and speak about the important issues, and don't stay shut. And if you feel like you're tired about certain things, learn to take rest and not to quit. And yeah, I think that that's really about it. And I am more than just glad that MentorMitr people have given me this opportunity to present forth my story, even though it wasn't that maybe interesting, I guess, but it really did shape my life in a lot of ways. I don't know, if I would not have participated in that competition in my 12th grade, I would not have been here. So every step you take, every decision you take really creates a major impact in your life without you even realizing it. So yeah, thank you, and please stay safe and take care. Thank you.
So, thank you for the lovely. Now, I would like to make an announcement. We're looking for speakers in the webinar from Philippines who can represent MentorMitr. Contact us on the following ID: events@mentormitr.com, and share your story with us. It can be through a 1-minute video, and the selected entries will be taken up for our future webinars. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Maheen, for sharing your experiences and insights with us. Our listeners definitely took away some lessons that can help them get through their obstacles. I would like to repeat the steps to avail the e-certificate before moving on to our next speaker. Attend the full webinar. Once you see "Thank you" displayed on the screen, there will appear a link to Google Attendance form in the chat box. Click to mark your attendance and get the feedback form emailed. Fill the questionnaire that you receive on your mail for the details. Follow our page on Instagram and Facebook. If the above stated steps are followed, an e-certificate will be automatically mailed to you. The second speaker for this session is Ms. Niharika Bhargava. Niharika Bhargava is an experienced agripreneur with a history of working in the marketing industry. She is the founder of the Little Farm Co. She is a TEDx speaker and is skilled in market research, branding, product development, brand building, and organic farming. Niharika is a strong business development professional with a Masters of Science focus on marketing strategy and innovation from Cass Business School and has received the Astitwa Award in 2018.
Hi, I'm Niharika from the Little Farm Co. And I run a farm to fork brand. We have our own farms in Madhya Pradesh, and I had no idea I was going to get into something like this. I'll tell you first a little bit about myself and my education background. So, I basically did my graduation from Delhi University and did a BCom honors. And then further, I did my master's in marketing from Cass Business School. And I started working at Edelman in Gurgaon, a proper PR desk corporate job. And I had no plans to do something of my own, and especially something like this. So once I started working there, I realized something like this is not meant for me at all. I worked there for about 6 months, and then I quit because didn't like the corporate culture. And I always wanted to do something of my own, but the plan was to get work experience for 7 8 years and then maybe start something of my own. So that was what was the plan was. But like we say, whenever you plan, life doesn't work out that way. So I quit my job after 6 months, and after that, I was figuring out what to do sitting at home. No idea what I'm going to do. One thing I was sure of was that I don't want to, do a job. I want to do something of my own, and that's when my own startup, the Little Farm Co, was founded. And now I'll tell you guys a little about how Little Farm Co started. I started brainstorming about what I want to do and what resources that I have which I can make use of. And that's when I realized, so at my house, my dad used to basically just make pickles and gift it to people. And we had a few farms in Madhya Pradesh. And we were just growing vegetables there, but not doing anything commercially there. So I thought, why not put these two things together? And maybe we can sell pickles commercially in the market. So the brainstorming started like that. But then the second point was, is there even a need for what I'm selling? The product I'm selling or the service that you're selling, is there a need for it? So then came the second stage of seeing, the product I think is appealing, but are people going to actually go buy it? And I started studying the other competitors in the market, and I realized that there is no one in the market doing homemade pickles or handmade pickles on a large scale. Whatever pickles you have in the market are factory made, and people now think they're unhealthy. So that's where I thought there is a need, there is a gap in the market that needs to be filled. So let me do more research. I started studying what will be my target audience. It will be people who are basically based in cities, who do not get homemade food anymore, who miss the pickles that their moms used to make, and they don't have access to that anymore. So I started studying my target audience. I started doing the competitor analysis. That's the basic you guys should do before you're starting your own work. And that's when the Little Farm Co came into existence. And then was the product. The main thing that your company revolves around is what you're selling, the product. So I had to test my product. We started making really small batches at my house, in fact not even at the farm, and started participating in small exhibitions, trade shows, to see what is the response that we're getting. We started testing a product. So the good part was, in one of our first exhibitions we completely sold out. So I got to know there is good market acceptance of the product that I'm selling. Then came, of course, the other things like price. At what price are going to people going to buy our product, because it is a premium product. We are putting the best ingredients in it. So that was the second part of the big. Then how am I going to sell it? We are a primarily online business, and basically most of our business comes online, keeping the low overheads into place. So place was decided. We thought we'll do, because our product revolves around tasting, we did a lot of exhibitions and then started selling online. So whenever anyone's starting their work, you have to have these 4 P's of marketing in place before you even jumpstart. And then with the promotion, how are you going to promote it? How are you going to actually get your brand out there? So from what I learned from this when I was starting my own venture was, you have to make the best of what you have. And so I made use of the land that my dad had, and the expertise that was there in my house, and made a business out of it. I would like to elaborate a little more on the Little Farm Co and what we do. So basically, first, like I said, we started at home. And then we expanded and we started growing all the vegetables and fruits from scratch at the farm, and pickling it further. So all the products that we do, we don't use any preservatives, any additives. We grow everything organically. And to start with pickles, like the spices that we put in it are grown organically at the farm. Then the salt that we put in it, people think white salt is unhealthy. They don't want to eat pickles because white salt is too high in sodium. So we came up with a natural alternative of pink salt in it. Again, then the oil that we use cold pressed oil, and we don't use any sugar. So we basically went back to the roots and doing everything traditionally. Originally, what we started was with pickles, and then we expanded into a number of co-products due to good market acceptance. That was spices. We're selling cold pressed oils now. We're selling honey now. So a couple of other things we started selling. And what best we did in the process was, we started empowering women who work for us. So we have a team of 13 women there, and about 10 of them are women and 3 are men. So we have a small team there, and so many of our recipes come from them as well now. So I had no plans to get into this business, but that's how I got into it, and it's been going great. It's been 3 years now. And just want to tell anyone who plans to start their own business, of course, it takes time, but you have to keep at it. So recognition came to us, of course, not instantly. Customer loyalty takes time, be it any product that you're selling. I'm talking about, because be it a service, anything it takes time for customer loyalty. It takes time to build a brand. So if you are at it, if you plan to start something of your own, you have to be patient. As good things take time. And you always have to know that when you are starting something of your own, first comes the recognition, first comes the brand loyalty, and then comes the money. So it's not easy, but you have to keep at it every day. And I would also like to pinpoint whoever is, you know, listening to this podcast about the learnings that I faced, because if you're doing anything and everything in India, especially, everything can go wrong. So there are a lot of learnings, and I would like to give a shout out to MentorMitr for a great program that they're doing. Because whenever you're starting something of your own, there is a very big need of guidance, mentorship, and I think they build a good platform for that. So congratulations to you guys on that. So whenever, like I said, coming back to the mentor bit, when you are starting something of your own, don't be afraid to ask for help. Don't be afraid to ask people for what you need. Look for a good mentor, look for someone. It can be someone in your family, it can be a friend, it can be someone you met through a program like this. But look for all the help, because experience teaches you a lot. So if you look for a mentor, a lot of times their experiences also teach you a lot. So for me, my mentor was my dad, like I said, because he was from the farming background. But I feel like whenever you're starting something of your own, there is a really big need for a mentor in your life and guidance in your life. So I pay a lot of emphasis to that. And another learning that I had, and I want to share with everyone, is don't get intimidated to try something new. So when I started the Little Farm Co, I had no idea about farming. I had no idea about organic food. I have literally learned on the job. The only thing I knew was what I've studied is marketing. So I knew how to do that, but nothing else. So I would just like to say, from my personal experience, don't be afraid to try something new. It's something, you have a good idea, try it. You will know if it works or it doesn't till you actually dive in and you try it out. Of course, like I said, like I spoke about the 4 pillars of marketing: do your research, do a good competitor analysis, do the financial studies, see if it's viable or not. But of course, don't be afraid to try something new. You never know how big it will become. You never know what will come out of it. And just in case it doesn't work, it will teach you so much. You will learn so much out of it. And another thing is to get out of your comfort zone. When you're starting something of your own, you have to do things that you haven't done before. I used to literally, I still do actually, stand at a farmer's market, sell a product, get tasting done. I have a sales team now. I can hire that, but I make it a point to go there because you need to be in touch with your customer directly. So you have to push yourself out of your comfort zone when you're doing something of your own. When you're starting your own company, you're literally handling marketing, accounting, sales, product, everything. So you'll be learning so much, but you can't be hesitant. So that's another big learning that I had. And like I said, practical experience teaches you a lot. What you can learn on the job is something else. So I get a lot of people come and ask me, oh, you've studied this, but you're doing something totally different. For the people who are listening, it doesn't matter what you studied. Of course, it helps. It really helps. But practical experience is something else. So, of course, with the proper research, I would really suggest, do follow your heart. If you have a great idea, don't be afraid to try it. You don't know what will come out of it. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Niharika, for sharing your insights with us. The audience is surely more motivated and encouraged to tackle their problems head on from now on. The third speaker for today's session is Miss Somya Jain. Somya Jain is currently the Vice President of Global Internships for Teachers at ISAC in Delhi University. She is pursuing economics from Lady Street for Women. She believes that leadership is the fundamental solution to all the problems existing in this world.
Hi, everybody. This is Somya, and right now I'm working as the Vice President for Global Internships for Teachers at ISEC in Delhi University. I am here today to not give a speech or any lecture, but I am here today to just tell you about my experience and the learnings I have had, so that the mistakes I made, you can learn from them and do not make those mistakes. Having said that, each has their own journeys, and I hope my journey, from my journey, you can take something back. So I'll tell you like my ISEC experiences and how all the experiences that happened with me shaped me as a person today. So I joined ISEC back in April 2019, and when I joined ISEC, I was not at a very good juncture of my life. There were not a lot of things that were working for me. I had just entered college. I got admission into Lady Shriram College, and as fancy as it sounds, there were a lot of problems that I faced when I entered college. Firstly, the kind of cultural shock that I got to after getting into LSR was huge. There was a lot of competition. Having in school also there was a lot of competition, but the kind of competition that I faced in LSR was something different. It was a very competitive field, and uh, honestly there were when you enter into college, everybody has hyped you about joining this society, joining that society, and there was not a lot that was exciting me or interesting me, and the ones I was interested in, they were rejecting me. So it was not a very good phase of my life I was in, because back in school I was always an overachiever kind of a kid. Doing sports, doing dance, doing this, doing that. And I had never faced as such rejection in my life. And the first taste of rejection I had was in LSR. So, in a nutshell, not a lot of things were working for me. And that was the time when ISEC came into picture. I got to know about ISEC. I got to know that it is world's largest youth run organization. They do exchanges. So this was my idea of ISEC, and I wanted to join ISEC because of one thing, because of the professional experience, and it will have an impact on your CV and everything. So with as little information as that, I went ahead and gave my group discussion and personal interview round, and luckily I got selected into ISEC. That particular moment when I was selected for ISEC, like that had a boost on my confidence, and I can't tell you, like my confidence from it went from here to here. The fact that I was not rejected, I was selected among so many of candidates who had applied, that gave my that just boosted my confidence a little. And that was like the first taste of this. I actually, yeah, gained my confidence back. And something that I learned from that was that whatever happens in your life, it is in your hands to steer it. It is in your hands to, what I could have like sat down and sulked about it, which I actually did. But then that doesn't mean that you stop making efforts. And when I joined ISEC, it definitely helped me gain my confidence back. But ISEC gave me an environment where I was not judged, where I could be myself, and it gave me so many opportunities to grow. I'll give you an example. So when I joined ISEC, so in ISEC there are a lot of leadership roles, and there are a lot of opportunities that you get. So 2 months into the organization, honestly, I was not giving a lot to the organization. I was not working as much as I wanted to, because I was new, I was apprehensive. There were a lot of inhibitions I had within myself, that I would want to be quiet, I want to sit in the corner and not talk to anybody. And ISEC as an organization, it's a membership of 180 people. Like in my particular local committee, local chapter, that is ISEC in Delhi University, it's a organization of 180 people. So I was that person who used to be shy, who didn't want to talk to a lot of people. And the culture of ISEC is such that it forces you to talk to people. It is so inclusive, it is so non-judgmental. But I, being myself, I was very shy and I couldn't talk to a lot of people. But one thing that I knew was that I had to take opportunities. And one such experience was recruitment's organizing committee. So what a recruitment organizing committee is, as clear it's as from its name you can infer, it's the new when the new people have to be recruited into the organization, there is a committee which is set so that they can work towards making people aware about ISEC and then recruiting them. So I was a part of that, and that was a 1 month long journey, and I can't tell you what it taught me. It taught we literally used to go to different colleges, different classes, and pitch to them about ISEC, that why they should join ISEC and what will ISEC do in their lives. It may sound very little, but that gave me so much confidence. My public speaking skills improved manifold. I am here right now giving this, talking about my experience. I don't think I could have done that back like back 2 years back. So that was the kind of exposure and confidence I got from my recruitment organizing committee, and that was the first time I realized that if I put my mind onto something, there is literally nothing that I cannot achieve. What is needed is just consistency and patience. I think that is very important for you to achieve what you want to achieve. Leave all your inhibitions and just go for it. So this was like just a small anecdote of a lot of experiences that happened with me and Isaac. So after I got done with the recruitment committee, after it was over, so when I was recruited, I was a member in the department where we send people for their exchanges. So basically my work included marketing and sales, where I had to call people up who are interested for exchanges and then send them to these exchanges. Within 3 months into the organization, I was promoted to the team leader position, and that is when my leadership journey began. That is when I literally got to understand how important it is, how important leadership is. It not only makes you responsible, it forces you to take ownership of your actions, because now you are not only responsible for how your journey looks like, you're also responsible for how some other people's journey look like. I personally had 3 people in my team, 3 people in my team, and the joy I got when I was leading them was something else. So that is something that I am really grateful for Isaac to teach me, for making me understand the importance of leadership. Right now, whatever problems this world is facing, I think the fundamental solution to that is leadership. When you start, and leadership not only means leading other people, leadership also means leading yourself, self leadership. When you start taking responsibility of your actions, ownership of your actions, when you show up even if the situation is not favorable to you, that is when leadership happens. And Isaac taught me that. Isaac taught me that the steering, like the wheel of your life, is in your hands, and wherever you want to take it, you can take it, provided you are consistent, patient, and hardworking. So, after all these experiences, now I became the leader, team leader, leading 2, 3 people. Then came an opportunity for me, and as I told you guys earlier also, that ISEC is full of opportunities. It only depends on you which opportunities you want to grab. And I think I was pretty lucky that I had leaders who motivated me to take those leadership positions. And the one leadership position that I knew from within that I had to grab was becoming the vice president of my department. So the what so basically in ISEC there is an executive board. An executive board is a group of 12 to 13 individuals who are vice presidents for the respective departments, and then there's a president. So that is how the hierarchy goes. So now came out the applications for becoming the vice president, and it was a month long process. So when I started out, like when my journey began of applying, the first time that, like the first application that I filled out to apply for the position of vice president, till the time I was announced the vice president, it was a month long period where we had to do a lot of interviews, a lot of tasks, and a lot of group discussions, a lot of basically a lot of things were involved in the selection process. And the EB selection, the executive board selection process, my selection process to become the vice president was in itself so enriching. I think that has been the most enriching part of my ISEC journey. where it taught me patience. It taught me to put your best and do not wait for the results, because I know that when you put in your efforts and you wait for the results, there's a lot of anxiety that goes within it. You do not know what will happen. What if you did something wrong? What you said is not right? So all of I had a lot of anxiety, like not anxiety, but a lot of restlessness, if I might say, because it was a huge process. But oh my god, it taught me so much. It taught me firstly that what you can do on your part is to make efforts, and if you leave the inhibitions of the results, if you do not expect anything out of what you are putting in, that is when the best results show. And that is something that I did during my selection process. And also, the other thing that that really struck me throughout the process uh, was that I understood myself better. I discovered the potential within me. I think everybody right now is in such a fast pace where they really do not take time to sit down and understand what they really want in their lives. Who are they as a person? Like, who am I as a person? What things I like? What things I do not like? I think that period taught me a lot about what I can do, what my potentials are. And if I am stubborn enough to get something, I put my mind into it, that is when I will definitely achieve it. So I think that was a huge learning I got. And one thing I also actually realized during my EB selection process was that it is important to have uh, fun. Like, it is important, like in a fast paced life we often forget to spend time with the people who we care about, and just take a break and just introspect and just spend time with yourself. I think that selection process also taught me that, because it was a month long period. There were like a lot of people who had applied, and it was important, it was imperative for me to understand what potential I have, what qualities I have, because there were a lot of introspective questions, there were a lot of introspective interviews that happened. So, in a nutshell, I actually grew a lot as a person, and at the end of the day, I didn't really care what the results will be. What I cared about was the growth that I had during that period, and I was grateful for that. That is another thing that I think my ISEC journey taught me, is to be grateful. Often in life we forget to be grateful for the things we have, and just not be satisfied. And I think ISEC has literally, my journey, my leadership journey has taught me that you have to be grateful. You need to practice gratitude so that you are sane, so that like, you understand what all you have gotten, and just be grateful for that. And apart from that, ISEC has taught, by being in a professional environment, it has taught me a lot of hard skills also. If I will, like, I think I should talk about that also. A lot of hard skills, whether it be designing, whether it be graphic designing, sales, marketing, how to talk to people, how to get sponsorships, uh, and just the practical exposure that I have gotten is a lot. I am just 20 years old, uh, and I know for a fact that there's a lot of competition. There is not a lot of practical learning in that has been inculcated in the Indian education system. So ISEC has literally shaped me into, I think I do have those skills which are important for you to excel in your professional life. Not to a lot, like not a very high extent. Obviously, I have a lot to learn, but where I started out, where I didn't know how to probably add a signature in your mail, to today, where I am designing booklets, I am making sales, I am handling a department of 15 people, and we as an executive board are handling a committee, an organization of 180 people. it it teaches you a lot. So uh, and so now obviously I became the vice president, and we started off our term, like me and the 11 other vice presidents along with the president, we started off our term. Then came, I think, the biggest challenge of our term, which was COVID-19 situation. ISEC basically facilitates cross cultural exchanges. as the word suggests, we send people of India to foreign countries for their exchange, and from foreign country, people come to India for their exchanges. Now, COVID struck us. It was we just started our term in February, and then COVID came along, and then in March we had a lockdown. So we had to stop our operations. We had to halt everything because of the COVID situation, obviously. And as selfish as it might sound, we started our term with a vision. We started our term with, sending a lot of people to their exchanges for their exchanges, but that couldn't happen. Now, you understand that, we were people who started our term with a lot of enthusiasm, a lot of processes, a lot of time had gone into selection processes, making our plans, and then when we had the chance to start executing them, that is when we had to stop everything altogether. Now, in this kind of situation, you can do two things. Either you cry about it, or you cry about it, then then get up and then think of an alternative solution, because now the owners of an entire organization of 180 people was on our hands, an organization which has existed since the time World War II ended. The owners of that organization is in our hands. So that was a challenge for us. A lot of long meetings had gone into for us to decide what we want to do ahead, how do we want to engage our membership so that the future leadership pipelines of the organization do not cease to exist. There were a lot of challenges like this. The physical, because ISEC is majorly a physical setting where people work, they meet and everything, their meetings happen physically and everything. We could not do that. Now we needed to find an alternative solution. And I think that taught me a lot. Now I was the vice president for the department which sends people to exchanges. So my main work was that, and there was no work as such because we couldn't send people for exchanges. So I think that uncertainty, that taught me a lot of things. That taught me that you can definitely, the most of our worries and anxiety that we face is not because we are worried about future. It is because we want to control the future. It is because we want to make sure that whatever happens in the future is according to us. And that is something I learned, and I think that has been the biggest learning for me in my ISEC journey, where now I know that whatever I plan, I hope it goes according to that. But I know for a fact that even if it doesn't go according to that, I need to be flexible in my approach. I cannot be very stubborn about, I thought this, I want to do this, whatever the situation may come. I now know to be adaptable, that there is a lot of uncertainty. What you can do best is to make your efforts and leave the rest to, to destiny, to universe, to whatever. But do your efforts, do your hard work, and the rest will fall into place. So now 4 months are left for me, before I complete my term. And I just want to say that, my journey has taught me a lot of things. I have had a lot of experiences which were not good, which were very good. But one thing is to enjoy the process, to be dedicated to your growth. That when you fall in love with the process of what you are doing, then eventually you do not really care about the results, and the results will come anyway. So that is the beauty of it. That was about me, my ISEC journey, and what learnings I have had. I hope you guys could take back something out of it. And if my journey helps you to, to find solutions to whatever problems you might be facing in whatever little extent it could, I think my purpose for coming here will be fulfilled. Thank you for giving me this space, and have a nice day.
So thank you so much for the lovely talk, Soumya. I'm sure our audience has a lot. Now, I would like to make an announcement. We're looking now from Philippines who can represent MentorMitr as ambassadors. Contact us on the following ID, events@mentormitr.com, and share your story with us. It can be through a 1-minute video for our future webinars. Thank you for joining us once again. And now I would like to request Kritika to proceed with the question and answer session.
So, our first, do you have any warm up tips before going up on the stage?
I hope I'm audible and visible.
Yes, you are.
Right. So, any warm-up tips before you go on stage? So, firstly, I mean, of course, if you're going to present a speech or like if it's a debate or any sort of a competition, you should have some content prepared because one thing I know is that you cannot go unprepared. So, one tip I'll give you is you have to be confident. Now, you must be wondering, what does it mean? Be confident. It's such a vague advice. So, what the points that I'm about to tell you will make sure that whenever you're on stage, you are confident. So, firstly, like I said in the webinar, and I'll say it again, know what you're speaking. Until and unless you believe in whatever you're saying, you won't be able to convince other people to believe in it as well. Right? So make sure whatever you're trying to say, it makes sense and that you believe in it so that it becomes easier for you to make other people believe in the same thing. Secondly, you have to make eye contact and try to smile as much as possible, just like I am right now, because you should try to captivate by having confidence, and that can only happen from relentless rehearsing. Now, rehearsing doesn't mean that you have to research that you have to rehearse your speech like 1 or 2 minutes before you go on stage. Don't ever do that, because I have seen people rehearsing their speech at the very last minute, because then there's a possibility that you might forget your speech after all. So don't do that. You can rehearse your speech before, like 30 minutes or 1 hour before you're actually supposed to give it. Let your ideas flow through you. Be free to whatever you want to say. Be precise whenever you're putting across your point, and don't let your stage fright stop you from delivering your messages. Like I said, if there's an important cause that you stand for, it's very important that you have your voice to raise on the issue. And lastly, I'd say this is very important. Please take a note of this, that once you're done with your speech, you should give something to the audience to ponder upon. It can be any sort of a thought provoking quote or a statement, but it should give something to the audience to think about, in a way that once you're done with your speech, even after 15 to 20 minutes of you being done with your speech, the audience is still thinking about what you said. And I personally believe that's what changes your entire game. If the audience is thinking about what you're saying, even after you're done with your speech, you have won. So I really, really hope that answers your question, ma'am.
Yes, Maheen, thank you for sharing such great tips. My next question is, what are some mistakes from your experience that one should avoid when initiating a startup?
First of all, thank you so much for having me on this platform. I hope everyone can hear me well.
Yes,
So
Niharika, we can
yeah.
hear you.
So a mistake which I say when you're starting a startup, a lot of people tell you should find a good team. You should delegate as much as possible, and you have to surround yourself with good people to make your startup work, which makes sense. But what not a lot of people come and tell you is, I don't know if you've heard of the saying, "Jack of all trades, master of none." But to have your own startup, you have to be a jack of all trades. You need to know a bit of every field, even if you're hiring the best people who will keep a check on them. So when you have a startup, you have to know a bit of everything, and that is one learning that I learned. Even if I'm hiring the best people, who will keep a check on them, who will see what they're doing, are they doing it well, does it match with your goals, does it match with what you want out of your company? So I feel what not many people come and tell you is that you have to be a jack of all trades when you're starting your own company. I hope that answers your question.
Yes, it does. I'm sure the audience had gained an amazing insight from this. Well, the last question is for Somya. As a team leader, how do you pacify disagreement amongst members with?
All right. I hope I am audible to all of you, right?
Yes, you are.
All right. So now that a half since I have been leading my own team in ISEC, so one thing is that everybody to make sure that the team knows that it is not them against each other, but it is actually the team against the problem. So there are three rules that we every time we follow in our team. That is, first,
to speak with intent, to listen carefully, and to tend to the well-being of whole. So when so there are two, three things. When you are presenting your opinion, you need to be constructive in it. You cannot be demeaning or disrespectful towards anybody. And when you do that, it gives the person who is in front of you a chance to listen to what you are saying and then think accordingly. So I think the first thing is that the team knows that they are working towards the common goal, and it is not them against each other, which will help to determine the mindset of the team. Once the mindset is there, then comes the expectation that the team needs to respect each other when they're talking and when they're presenting their opinion. It needs to be with anybody. I think when that mutual understanding and expectation is there in the team, it's very easy to resolve the issues. And one thing that I've always done in my team whenever issues like this arise is that I take a back seat and let my team discuss among themselves and come to a conclusion. I always make it a point, and it's my conscious decision to do that. That I take a back seat because at the end of the day, they need to understand that to work in a team means that you need to cope up with the differences you have and together come to a solution. So that is actually how we try and resolve the issues among us, and that actually helps us to work as a team.
Thank you so much, Soumya. I would like to give a huge thanks to all our speakers. Important thing that has helped you in your journey.
Could you repeat the question, please?
What was the most important thing that has helped you in your journey?
I think the most important thing that has helped me in my journey is the support I have received from my mentor. For me, that was my father. And that's why I think the platform that you guys are running is such an amazing initiative that when you're doing something, when you're starting something of your own, you need a mentor to guide you. And I feel that was the most important thing in my journey because when you have a mentor, you are learning from someone else's experience as well. So I think that was the most important thing for me.
Thank you so much. So that
Thanks.
is all for the question and answer. I would like to give a huge thanks to all our speakers today for sharing their knowledge and inspiring lessons with us. I believe every person can learn something from your lesson. I would also like to thank our audience for their patience and encouragement during the webinar. I would like to repeat the steps for availing the e-certificates again. Attend the full webinar. Once you see thank you displayed on the screen, there will appear a link to Google attendance form in the chat box. Click to mark your attendance and get the feedback form email. Fill the questionnaire that you receive on your mail for the details. Follow our page on Instagram and Facebook. If the above stated steps are followed, an e-certificate will be automatically mailed to you. A huge thanks to our speakers and to all the participants once again for joining us. You can contact us through any of the above mentioned platforms with your questions, feedback, and suggestions. Stay tuned and see you all next Sunday.